Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. On this channel, we discuss day-to-day problems people face in their lives. Let's start with the video. Me, 25 female, and my boyfriend Ryan, 27 male, have been dating for a little over 2 years and recently moved in together. Something worth noting is that he comes from a very wealthy, upper-class family, whereas I come from lower middle class. They have imported furniture, crazy expensive artwork, a chef, a maid, etc. But Ryan is the complete opposite of his family. He doesn't buy the most expensive items or shop at the most expensive stores like his family. He's frugal like me. So yesterday, his mom and sister came to the house for the first time. We greeted them at the front of the door and their first comment was that the house is too small. Ryan and I just brushed it off because we knew that was coming. They came in and right off the bat they made comments about how there isn't enough artwork, that the couches look and feel cheap, the countertop is hideous, etc. They went so far as to critique the type of glass used on the shower door. Then they got to our bedroom and even though I don't have much respect for them, I thought they'd at least have the decency to not thoroughly dissect the entire room and just take a quick look. Boy, was I wrong. The first comment she made was about the way our bed was made. I have anemia, so I'm always very cold. So I sleep with the main comforter or Sherpa blanket and a weighted blanket. The bed was made like normal with my extra blankets folded in half on my side. I'll admit, it doesn't look the prettiest, but it's our room. I explained this to them and they said that I could at the very least put them in the closet. I showed them that the closet is already full. They rolled their eyes and mumbled something I couldn't understand. This annoyed me, but I kept my cool. But then they literally started going through our dresser drawers. I politely asked them to not do that they have personal items. They accused me of having something to hide. At that point, I had enough. I asked them to leave. They looked dumbfounded, but I repeated myself. They turned to Ryan and asked if he really was going to let me kick them out. He said that it's getting really late and that they should get going so they don't get home too late. After they left, Ryan turned to me and said that it wasn't really my place to ask them to leave. He said he only agreed because he didn't want to argue in front of them and give them more reason to not like me. But if I wanted them gone, I should have said something to him and he could have said something that would have prevented the argument. I said that they needed to be called out for their inappropriate behavior and he wasn't doing that, so I took it upon myself. This is the first argument we've had that hasn't been resolved within a few hours. So I'm wondering if maybe I'm in the wrong. Not the a-hole. They were going through your drawers. Who does that? That is not normal. Guests don't come in and start riffling through your personal belongings. They talked smack about your apartment. They're rude and entitled. It's your place to ask anyone to leave your house. Go to couples counseling now so your boyfriend can learn to set boundaries with his family. If he doesn't, your resentment will grow to the point the relationship is over. Who the hell goes through the doors in someone else's house? That's insane behavior. Even if they had been perfect guests up until that point, that act alone is worthy of giving a guest the boot out the door. Going through your drawers is flat out rude as hell and totally inappropriate unless mom and sister wanted to find the 16-inch double-ended dildo in drawer 2. I don't even open drawers in anyone's home unless they specifically tell me. Everyone knows that rule. For a better result, your boyfriend should have kicked them out, not you. But I think they were 100% forcing you to kick them out, so they can now tell everyone you had the audacity to kick them out without even consulting their son, and you're a blah blah blah. Not the a-hole, and I would have done the same thing. Sadly, I don't think you can avoid future conflict with that lot. Oh my god, 16-inch double-ended dildo in drawer 2 made me literally LOL. Thankfully, they didn't get to that drawer, but yeah. I thought that was kinda common sense. Unfortunately, I've had issues with them, more like them with me, since day one, and I have zero expectations of that changing. But this just definitely crossed the line, and I have no idea what the point was. Not the a-hole. Also, sounds like your boyfriend is concerned over their reactions. So they likely have him believing this is normal somehow, which sounds like conditioned submissiveness to them. Honestly, I tell him that isn't normal and ask him why he's upset. Get him to understand this is nowhere near okay. At least he told them to leave though, and while him being upset is pretty dumb, I do sort of get that they might only listen to him, and he might not want you in their crosshairs. So yeah, they're huge a-holes. He's kinda a-hole-ish for how he's acting about it. Next story. My 20 soon to be 21-year-old daughter moved in with me last Wednesday because she was having issues with her stepmom and wanted to be away from city life. She previously lived with her father out of state in a pretty big city. Daughter is not going to college and has no plans to take any classes or learn a trade. I live in a kind of rural, small town area. The nearest city is about an hour away. Upon moving out here to live with me, one of the agreements was that she had to get a job. Her dad never made her get a job before, and I think that's ridiculous. There is no reason for her to not work if she's not going to college. Other agreements she made was to help out around the house, such as keep her room clean, keep her bathroom clean, keep common areas clean, pick up after yourself, clean the kitchen area if you make a mess, take out the garbage if you notice it's full, and replace the bag. I also have 2 teens that also help out around the house, and then there's my husband and I. Everybody pitches in. I guess at her father's house, he never made her do chores. She said her stepmom was the one who cleaned the house while her dad and younger half-siblings went out and did fun things. Her dad spoiled her rotten and they were very close, which is why she probably chose to live with him when she was around 13, because she didn't like the rules around my house and didn't like that I would punish her for bad grades and bullying. He let her do whatever she wanted, bought her whatever she wanted, took her to do whatever she wanted without working for it. He rewarded her bad behavior. I recently told her she needs to start looking for a job and applying everywhere. Everywhere around here is hiring. She told me she has no interest in any of the jobs that are on Indeed. I told her she needs to have a job by February 1st, or there is no reason for her to not have a job and pay for some of her own things. Her room is also trashed. You can't even see the floor. Garbage, soda cans, candy wrappers, chip bags, old food is everywhere. Clothes are everywhere. Makeup is spilled on the carpet. It's appalling. She also hasn't lifted a finger around the house yet. I've asked her to do a few simple chores and she gives me an attitude and walks away. She also stays up all night and sleeps in until 2-3 p.m. She does leave the house every day, usually to go buy things she doesn't need with the money her dad sends her, or she goes to meet up with people she found online. She has been crying for her dad almost every day, telling me how much she hates me and how great her dad is, how her dad wouldn't make her do X, Y, and Z, how unfair I am. She calls her dad to complain about how horrible I am treating her and how she hates it here. Edit. She refuses to go to therapy or give it a try. I did mention it to her. She started screaming at me that I'm the one who needs to go see a therapist and I can't make her do anything she doesn't want to. She told me to go F myself and to leave her the F alone. And stomped upstairs and slammed the door shut to her room. Come February 1st, if she doesn't have a job, she's out. Maybe even before that. If she keeps giving me an attitude and refuses to help out around the house. Not the a-hole. It sounds like you were really clear and upfront with her about the conditions under which she could live with you. She chose to not honor those conditions, so I think you're in the right if you asked her to move out. She's an adult. She can get her own place or move back in with her father. Not only that, but she's saying she hates you. You're definitely not the a-hole in this case. Not the a-hole if you stick to your February 1 deadline. Getting your daughter launched is going to be more difficult because she has 2 parental homes to float between and try to leverage one parent against the other. Her father is spoiling her primarily because he believes this helps him win the parenting competition with you. But it does her no favors to let her vacation permanently in your home as you subsidize her. Are you able to talk with her father at all? I'm guessing it hasn't gone well up until now, but it might be worth saying to him one more time that kids are notoriously bad at knowing what they need. Given a choice, most 4-year-olds would drink sugary juice and only eat chips or candy morning, noon, and night instead of drinking milk or water and eating veggies. Not expecting an adult child to do chores or get a job, if she's not pursuing education, is treating her like a 6-year-old. It will make her eventual adjustment to adult life much more difficult and possibly dangerous. Next story. On October 9th, I proposed to my fiance. 2 days later, when we went to my family for Thanksgiving, my mom said not to mention it yet because it would make my sister feel bad, and it would be easy since I didn't give her the ring. I said it was bonkers to ask such a thing because I didn't want to purposely rub it into my sister. No matter what my mom said, we didn't mention the engagement in front of her, or if she was close enough to hear us talking about it. It was not spoken about when we were in front of her, and we aren't online people, so she would not see it there. My mom was mad, but we ignored her. We're getting married April 9, and we'll figure it out no matter what's going on, even if it just means we sign papers and nothing else, though of course we're hoping for more. We got another surprise because we found out my fiance was pregnant at the beginning of November. On Christmas Day, we announced it because my fiance was 13 weeks along, and we thought it was time, especially because she was starting to show a bit. My mom got mad at us again because we should have known that this news would upset her if an engagement announcement would. We didn't go to visit my family on New Year's Eve like we were supposed to because of how my mom wouldn't stop bringing it up, and I didn't want to subject my fiancé to that. My dad just says my mom knows my sister best and I shouldn't purposely try to upset her or mom. In the weeks after both our engagement and pregnancy announcement, we of course mentioned the wedding or the baby if the subject came up organically, but we never brought it up. I'm not going in front of my sister going nearer, nearer, nearer. I'm not going to be married and a parent before you. I also don't look at getting married or having kids as achievements. I'm so happy about the wedding and our baby, but I view achievements like me both graduating from law school and passing the bar this year. My sister never gets upset at me or my fiance's academic or career achievements and celebrates them like everyone else. Also, there is nothing stopping my sister from not being single and getting married and having kids if that's what she wants. With my mom being mad and my sister being upset and my dad just going along with it, I'm at the point I don't want to involve them in anything besides telling them the date of the wedding, if we get to have one, and saying to come if they can behave calling them after the baby is born. I don't see how I could have avoided my sister hearing about the wedding or pregnancy forever. That stuff is impossible to hide. My fiance's family is different. She's also the youngest and first to get married and have kids, and her brothers and sisters are completely happy and don't care if she's the first. My fiancé and I are both turning 26 this year. My sister is turning 30. I'm the youngest of two and my fiancé is the youngest of four. Wait, so there is no actual reason for your mom to have asked you to keep it quiet other than her assumption that your 30-year-old single sister would be jealous of you doing things before her? Madness. I assumed when I started reading that your sister would have been through something horrible, like a fiancé calling off an engagement right after a miscarriage or something. That would make keeping it quiet, broaching it carefully make sense. But this is nonsense. Congrats on the pending nuptials and child, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Your mom and sister are being childish. Petty and downright bloody strange, to be honest. My younger brother is 24. I'm 31. He and his girlfriend will marry before me and my long-term partner. Do I ask that there's no wedding talk near me? No. Would I like to get married one day? Yes, but that doesn't mean other people's lives have to be put on hold for me. No, that's not how life works. I'm so happy for my younger brother and his girlfriend. Couldn't imagine a more perfect couple. It's a shame your mother can't be excited and happy for you at this time in your life. Instead, she's placating your sister, babying her, making it about her when she needs to grow the F up, and quickly. Not the a-hole. Your family has issues. Reach out to your sister and make sure to talk to her alone so that it's not your parents poisoning the well by telling each of you a different version of what's actually happening. That's shown up here before. If she is actually upset that a grown adult is marrying another grown adult and expecting a kid rather than waiting years for her to find someone and get married to, then no need to invite her at all. And I'd have big second thoughts about inviting your parents too if they're this manipulative. Telling you not to share that you're getting married and expecting a baby because your sister would be supposedly upset is just glaringly wrong. They should just tell her to suck it up and get over herself, full stop. Have the wedding without them and have your baby without them. And then tell them they can see the baby after they get to see her baby, as it's only right that she gets to do that first. They want to play the oldest game first, play it right alongside them. Once they've seen her baby, they can see yours. They'll pull their heads out of their buttocks fast. Next story. My sisters, Lori, 25 female, and Nat, 31 female, are not talking to each other at all. And it was because of a lying, cheating ex-boyfriend. Over a year and a half ago, Nat found out he was a serial cheater. Lori happened to be one of the girls he was cheating on her with, but neither had a clue. Nat never brought her ex around to meet the family, so no way to know it was him. Lori didn't break up with him, however, because she found out she was pregnant, so that's where the falling out came from. The dad, Nat's ex, was in an accident and passed away when Lori was 7 months pregnant. Nephew was 4 months old, but unfortunately, Lori isn't doing well. She got diagnosed with postpartum depression. She's been getting help, but then there was an incident and she's just not in the right place at the moment. I'm 29 male, taking care of my nephew and have been for almost 2 months now, while my mom is there with Lori. Nat is staying with me for a few weeks and hasn't been fun. She doesn't interact with my nephew at all, which is fair because he's a baby and he's my responsibility, but the way she acts, I don't like it. Sometimes she looks at him from his swing or crib and says he's so ugly. She's glad she didn't reproduce with that piece of crap, her ex. Dirty looks or comments, never wants to hold or have anything to do with him. He'll cry because he's hungry and she'll say, "Shut it up already," or he whines worse than my ex's name. I told her to knock it off with the comments already towards a literal infant. She doesn't see the big deal since he's a baby and doesn't understand. Then brings up again what his dad did to her, and this is all on Lori for having a baby. Sure, whatever she can feel however she wants about our sister, but I don't like the hostility towards my nephew. It's not even that she doesn't like babies. She's different from our baby cousins and our other niece. She just doesn't like him because of Lori and her ex. I've tried not to let it get to me, but I guess this morning was my breaking point. My nephew was crying because he was hungry and I just barely sat on the couch to feed him. Asked her if she could give me his burp cloth from the table because she was closer. Her comment was, "She's not touching anything he's touched." I was so frustrated and I remember telling her to grow the F up already and get over herself because this is an innocent baby. She got cheated on. That's terrible, but move on and not everything is about her. This was all stuff I've wanted to say for a while, but trying to be sensitive about what happened. Safe to say, Nat didn't talk to me at all today. My mom told me Nat called her crying. Neither of us agree with how she's treating the baby, but thinks I was way too insensitive about what she went through. I've been cheated on and know it hurts, but this really fed me up. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. You're absolutely right. She's being hateful towards an infant. That's unhinged. Clearly she's hurting and that's valid, but for her to turn that vitriol towards an innocent baby is sick. And he'll understand what's going on around him far before he's able to communicate back. So she needs to get it together or stay away from him before she does some actual harm. This kid never asked to be born. Good for you for standing up for him. Your sister is being mean and petty and taking it out on, as you said, an innocent child. She's entitled to feel how she wants, and if she needs to set up boundaries between her and the kid, that's her right. She shouldn't be forced to interact with him if it triggers her. But to go out of her way to be mean and insulting because he doesn't understand? Kids pick up on emotions earlier than people think, and her spreading that negativity isn't right. Plus, I get the feeling that this won't stop even when he does explicitly understand. Not remotely the a-hole.